afternoon, everybody. We are back here on the Sidewalk for Sidewalk Conversations. Now, this week, we're going to be touching a topic that I hold very dear to me. Very, very, very dear. If y'all feel that last week the conversation about alcohol was good, nah, this is the coup de grace. I've been trying to get somebody to come and hold this nice conversation with me about what we're about to talk about. And I brought other than my friend, the good Eden Bird. And today, we're going to be talking about edibles. Yes, you heard right. We're going to be talking about edibles. So let's jump right into it. Eden, what was your first edible?
My first edible experience, okay. This took place in Colorado. No, this was a year when Colorado made weed legal. Yeah. So it was actually for 420 celebration, and it was a muffin that I had. Now at that time, I didn't really know much about edibles, so this muffin, I had no idea how strong it was.
Yeah.
But it was about 3 of us that shared it. 3 of us shared it. And let me tell you, that was enough to get all 3 of us
zoned, like lifted.
Out there.
How big was the muffin?
Standard size cupcake.
Okay. I mean, it ain't that big.
No, nice little muffins up over the edges, and I think it was a banana nut.
Cool.
It's real nice.
My first experience was in high school. I think it was 5th form, and now the car could give me that, but I'm not gonna call that name. Not gonna do that. But when it was a brownie, right, and I remember it like if it was yesterday. The brownie was brown, but inside was glittering green. And I was like, what is this? He's like, just cool. And I was like, and he tell me, like, oh, I tried the brownie. He's like, don't drink soda with it, anything sweet. So I was like, what? He like, yeah, they try me nothing sweet. If you drink water, drink water. So I tried it, and I ate it like maybe around 2nd period. And when it was the 4th period, I didn't do no more work from like 4th period, go down to 8. It's like lifted and flying the whole entire time. The next day I went back to him like, boss, you have any more? And he was like, sorry, but he let me know what I'm going. And I never had a brownie like that again. You check? I never had a brownie like that again. And fast forward, I tried a sugar cake. I tried a sugar cake, but I ignored what the person was telling me. Like, and first time I tried sugar cake, I was like, yeah, the yam plenty, just yam maybe a piece or half. My retarded self, me yam half nearly all, and then when he really kicked in, vomited up everything and had to play it off to family members and make like me eat something bad, then I agree with me and all them kind of things. Yeah, that's when man's really young and thing.
That's what happens when you like follow instructions.
True.
And I think that's a problem with a lot of people when people have bad experiences with edibles.
Yeah.
Because they ignore the instructions and they think that they can eat the whole thing.
Yeah.
And a lot of the times here, the edibles are not properly dosed.
Yeah.
So you get a cookie or sugar cake and you have no idea how much weed is in that.
Yeah.
So according to your tolerance, you're not certain how much to eat, and whereas your friend might be able to eat a whole one, maybe just a quarter of that might be what you can handle.
Yeah.
So these are problems that people have with edibles. So what I want to touch on today is I want to go over some of the safety rules.
True.
List some of the mistakes that people make when going about using edibles.
Yeah.
Just to make sure everybody have an enjoyable
experience.
Yeah,
because I find it's very key for persons to know their tolerance level and what they can take from what they can't take, and it's important for you to know the difference either between THC and CBD. So let's break it down. You deal with the THC part and I'll tell people about the CBD part in the simple form.
Alright, so THC is the most common cannabinoid that we know about, and that's what's responsible for getting you high.
Yeah.
So when you smoke a joint or you ingest edibles, the THC is what gives you that euphoric feeling, that elevated experience. Now, so that's THC in a nutshell.
Yeah.
There's a whole nother list of cannabinoids. There's CBN, there's CBD. Now, well, you said that you were touching the CBD part where I don't want to steal that from you.
Okay then. So let me jump with the whole CDB part now. Just breaking it down in layman terms now. CDB, that is what's responsible for dealing with anxiety, depression, and pain, and so forth. So whenever you feel that mellow state, whenever you're having a joint, whenever you're ingesting edibles, it could be oils, whatever it is, whenever you feel on that low playing feel and so forth, that is the CDB just basically kicking in and dealing with your pain. For example, I had a headache one time and a friend was like, you gonna take a paracetamol? I said, no, I'm gonna pop a capsule. And yeah, I did get high, but at the same time too, when the CDB kicked in, like the pain just relieved itself.
Right.
Went to sleep good, woke up the next morning, pain-free, feeling refreshed and relieved. So that's what CDB actually does. Yeah.
THC as well does have some pain-fighting properties. So people that experience chronic pain, like whether from accidents or surgeries and so, you would find they would be chronic marijuana users. They would smoke a lot, and that's because that that THC, along with the CBD, can offer an intense numbing of that pain. And edibles, in that sense, I would say would be more effective for treating people with chronic pain because it has that longer lasting effect as opposed to smoking. But when you spark up a joint, you'll be high for maybe let's say about 2 hours.
2 or 3 hours. 2 to 3 hours,
on average.
With an edible, it's like 4 to 8.
Edibles now, you're looking at anywhere from 3 to 8 hours. Some people report being high for over 10 hours.
Yeah. Speaking of that, we touched on that topic. Let me not jump off on that here, but let's stay on the whole precautions and safeties of edibles, because most of us, we did not get the education about it in terms of the do's and the don'ts. So whenever persons come to me like, yo, can you hook me up with somebody who got good stuff? And I ask them a whole bunch of questions. I'm not trying to deter them, but at the same time, I'm trying to educate you and see what your tolerance is at. So if I know you're a beginner, I'm not gonna start you off with something that's 30 milligrams or 50 milligrams. I'm gonna see if I can get you something between 5 and 10.
5 and 10.
5 and 10. And after 5 and 10, I can say you can try something 20 range going up and so forth, whether it be a brownie, a cookie, it could be a capsule, it could be oil, whatever it is. You understand? Because in our culture, people just hear edibles and it's like, they go down that, but they don't take the time to ask how much grams of THC is this, how many grams of CBD is in this. And it's important for you to know your measurements, as you said before, because if you don't know your measurements, that can just basically throw you off and make you have a bad experience and not want to have edibles again.
Exactly. It's just like you go into a pharmacy to get cold medication. You got to know how strong your capsules are. Like even if you're taking ibuprofen, you have to know how strong the ibuprofen is, so you know how many pills you need to take to alleviate that headache or whatever the case is. So same with edibles, you need to know how strong your product is. So my advice to beginners, if it's your first time, even if it's your first 3 times using edibles, ask how strong is this? So that you would know how to gauge it and you would know how to take a small piece so that you're not feeling paranoid and overwhelmed because you consume too much.
True.
So rule number 1, know how much weed is in your product. Ask questions. Ask whoever you got it from, how strong is this? Second thing I would say, be patient.
True.
Be patient when you eat, and you have to wait for it to kick in.
Cause some people be like, oh, this is not work, it's not shit. And then they look, and bite, and yam off the whole time I bite the next piece. So when they kick in, they be like, oh gosh, I really feel them now. And be like, where do?
It's not fun anymore at
that point. Exactly, cause they were scared out of them and they were panic, hallucinate, all them kind of something. But seeing as we talking about that, right? Something that we should highlight and mention, the signs of when it kicks in, because some persons may not know the signs of when it kicks in. And me make you know. One of the first signs to look for, when you feel your lip start get dry, that's when you know it's about to happen. So when you do, hydrate yourself, water or juice. Have either out of the two, water or juice, and no put no alcohol with the thing, because if you do the alcohol, you just go there mash up yourself.
Yeah, so alcohol actually intensifies the effects of weed. So if it is the case that you're already high and you're not feeling it, too well, you're feeling a bit too high, don't drink no alcohol, please, because you actually might, intensify that feeling, and it's just going to be downhill from there.
Yeah, really downhill.
So very, very important, hydrate yourself. All the time, water might not quench your thirst, so juice, milk is something that really gives you back some taste and some flavor in your mouth.
Seeing. Now, what I usually do, I usually hydrate myself first, and after I hydrate myself and it kicks in, and after you done up the day, and the most crucial part about any high, the munchies. You have to have your snacks for when the munchies hit. Me make I know that. Snacks are very important. You know why high and no snacks did it. You check? Okay, I have to go cook food and you want to cook no food when you're high. You want something for snack pan. Chips, cookies, something. Snacks very important. But what the longest ever high for dog? Because me know a couple times me get high for like a whole entire day.
Okay. The longest for me, I would say maybe is about 8 hours. 8 hours, yeah. And this was it was like 100 milligram cookie I ate.
God.
Like real potent stuff, real strong. And I remember that it kicked in from about 12 o'clock midday. And all down to 5 o'clock, like I wanted that to stop. Trip to finish yet. Not until like minutes to 9 o'clock. That's when I started to feel like I was coming down and I started to mellow out. So yeah, edibles is really going to take you on a trip. Like you should really clear your schedule for that day. Like don't have anything super important, or if you need to be productive that day, you might want to postpone time for another day.
Cause I remember I got high for like 24 hours, right? I'm gonna tell you how it happened. One, I was at this breakfast fest with my friend Tiffany. Tiffany, you call me like a bad influence now, but I love you know. You call me like a bad influence, but I love this style and you are not a bad influence. So we're at this breakfast fest and edibles was there. So this was like, for me it was like 3 in the afternoon. Started eating like 3 edibles, like back to back. I spaced the timing out, but I ate them. And when it kicked in and I got home, flight did it. Flight partially come down in the morning and I'm at work, zoned out, just keeping quiet, hydrated and all that good stuff. So the day's looking to come to an end. And when you look, it's like maybe 3:30. Work finishes at 4:30. So like, let me go put on my head, man. Another hour for just sleep it off. When you look, me no wake up till minutes to 6. Minutes to 6. Me just get up. When minutes to 6, go and clock out, I go me yard. It's like, not me again. But that was not really say short-lived, but it happened recently this year when I was on vacation.
Oh crap!
I had 2 10 milligram capsules and I had a vial of oil and I put 2 drops. I put 1 underneath my tongue and 1 on my tongue and I'm waiting for it to kick in. It's not kicking in. So I said, you know what? Let me do a capsule. I threw down a 10 milligram capsule.
See, that's a red flag there.
Yeah.
You're too impatient.
Yeah. I was impatient at the time and then I felt like if the 10 wasn't kicking in as well, to take another 10. When that hit, right, I'm not gonna lie to tell you, flight just took off. Somebody was supposed to come and pick up her shoes for me. In the morning, I cleaned a pair of shoes. And the person calling me, I couldn't hear the phone ring, period. When they come to me, it's all blurred. I can't see nothing too good. I'm just there, like, what's up? You cool? Yeah. I was totally spaced out. Yeah, totally spaced out. And that didn't finish from till like maybe around 8, 9ish in the night. You right? It was coming down. I was like, yo, that high for like 24 hours was a different high. Right?
And that's what happens when you compound your products, because they have such a delayed effect.
Yeah.
So you take a capsule now, you probably might not feel the capsule until an hour or so later. And it just goes like that. So everything that you ate, you said like, oh, you ate a cookie, you ate a capsule, you took some oil. So all that just lengthening your
reaction time. Yeah.
So yeah, that's why you were high for a whole day.
Yeah. Another thing, right? What would be your pet peeves about buying edibles? Because my pet peeve is when you buy certain edibles and it tastes too weedy rather than tasting like what it's supposed to actually taste like. So if I buy a cookie, I expect the cookie supposed to taste like a cookie. Not me buy a cookie and me get weed, like me chew on weed. Like it should not be that. It should be a delicate balance. If not a delicate balance, you know how to mask it. You check? Yeah. And I find certain persons, they don't know how to do that. It's like, oh, me sell edibles and he this woman. I'm like, how much grams it taste in your product? Does it taste good? Yeah, they can't tell you. Even when you buy sugar cake and all too, you find stalk, seeds,
leaf, buds, and that's just a turn off for me. So that's a really big pet peeve.
Yeah.
Like having all the plant material inside the edible, because you don't want to feel like you're eating grass.
True.
I'm not a goat, so that shouldn't be in the edible. Another important thing that you mentioned is you ask them, how strong is this? How much weed is in this? What they tell you? Plenty weed. Little bit of weed. It kind of chunk. Like, whoa. That really give me an idea of quantity.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think a lot of people need to step up the game and step up the quality of the edibles that they produce.
And what they need to do now to tell people certain side effects that they may get, because certain strains don't agree with certain people. Because I remember I bought an edible from a friend at the time and it was like strong. The mixture was good, but the high was like relatively strong, not what I'm accustomed to get. And coming down off of it, I got a headache, and I was like, tall. The headache really messed with me. I told her friend like I had a headache. She's like, yeah, she had the same thing too. So she said she was gonna talk to her boys, like, please do, because I'm not saying you're baking for my preference, but you at the same time you have to try the product, because some of them they don't try the product now. They don't try the product. And something that we should let people know about too is if you consume after a long period of time, there's something that can do to your memory in terms of damaging your memory. It's called stoner's memory loss. Tell them about that, Eden.
Alright, so that's the important one you touched on. Memory loss. So once you're consuming cannabis, especially if you're a heavy user, so like you're using on a daily basis for an extended period of time, I'm talking about years. Like 5 years, daily use, you're not really taking much of a break in between this. What we find is that they tend to have maybe problem focusing on tasks. You don't seem as sharp as you are before. So there's not a lot of research on it right now, but the initial stuff right now, it does show that it has a bit of a negative impact on your memory, on your short-term memory.
I remember when I mentioned that to you because I hit you up over the vacation saying like, yo, I had something dealing with that in terms of I realized my memory isn't that sharp, and you explained to me about stoner's memory loss, and I looked it up and I was like, wow, this is really a real thing. And what I had to do in terms of to deal with the problem, I had to come off of edibles, I had to sleep well, exercise well, eat well and all too. And after that period of time, you realize that you don't need it, or your body's not so dependent upon it too. Because when you walk into a room, for example, I would go into the kitchen and I'm supposed to make me a sandwich. When I come in here for now, like 15 to 30 seconds, like, what am I in here for?
Yeah, you figure out where you've been.
Yeah, and then like maybe the next 45 minutes, like, oh, now I remember what I'm supposed to do. And it was really bad after I laid off for a while, and I could feel my memory getting back sharper and training my mind to do certain things. It didn't become a problem, but that's something that people need to be cognizant of, is stoner's memory loss, and it's a real thing. So if you know that you're consuming edibles a lot, like, lay off and just take it easy and you'll see what happens. Yo, Eden, it was good you passing by, us having this conversation about edibles. Really enjoyed it, and I hope you enjoyed it too at home and take what we said to heart, because nothing wrong in enjoying yourself, but at the same time, you need to know your limits and don't overdo at that too.
Yeah, it's all about moderation.
Yeah, so people, moderation is everything. Moderation is key. So we advise you whenever you're consuming edibles, it could be alcohol, just exercise, moderation, and that's what it is. So basically, moderation. So thank you for tuning in to another episode of Sidewalk Conversations, and see you next week.